The day everyone has been waiting for here this weekend at the Delray Beach Pickleball Open is finally here. It is Championship Sunday. Nothing but gold medal matches here today, 4 to be specific. Lauren McLaughlin here with Dominic Catalano and special guest who I think would like to have been on court right now for this match, but didn't work out this time, so we snagged him in the booth. It is Zane Navratil, everyone. Welcome, Zane.
What's going on? What an intro. The day we've all been waiting for. I thought you were going to say Zane's commentary debut.
I mean, there's that as well. That was part of the all-encompassing day we've all been waiting for. It is our head pickleball pregame show here before we kick off into our first gold medal match of the day, which will be our men's singles. J.W. Johnson taking on Federico Staksrud. And first and foremost, I think let's highlight the shirt that Federico is wearing. Dom, why don't you kind of let us know what that's about?
So Federico is wearing a shirt, and you're going to see these purple shirts if we ever shoot to the stands today. Katie Krieger, a local girl here, is battling leukemia. She is in the hospital, was put back in the hospital a couple days ago. So these shirts are a token of appreciation for Katie. We know Katie, her family, her brother Michael is actually playing today too. So it's a very nice cause that they are supporting and wearing these shirts for today. So Katie is in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we're thinking of her today. So
gotta love the support that the pickleball community always shows each other as they rally around those that are hurting or in need. So definitely a big shout out to Katie. We hope that she is doing better soon. And so let's get into the action here with our men's pro singles. Zane, why don't you we were talking beforehand a little intriguing thing about the rest factor. So J.W.
Sure.
Johnson, he is in 3 gold medal matches here today. He's gone all the way to the end every single day that he's played, while Federico Staksrud, only here for singles, has had a lot more downtime. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. You know, Dom and I were just talking about it's kind of like college bowl games for football or playoff games, the idea of rest versus rust. So J-Dub, he's in pretty good form. Clearly, he's made it to all 3 gold medal matches, but is he tired? You know, these last couple days, I finished 4th in men's doubles and mixed doubles, and I was here until 5 o'clock each day. And, you know, those are very, very long days, and especially with singles, I think it's good that singles is first for him because it's going to be the most physical of the 3 events, but Federico, what has he been doing over the last couple days? Has he taken his time, recovered? Has he been hitting? Who knows? So it's an interesting dynamic.
And it's funny you talk about that, Zane, and you say that you would, if you're in that position, would you like to have singles first to start off the day, or would you like it back at the end of the day, for your last match?
It depends who I am. If I'm in Federico's spot, I'd say I'd like to have it last so that J-Dub might actually have a chance of being tired. I don't think that kid gets tired, though. And if I'm in J-Dub's spot, probably first, although I do know that it does take J-Dub a little bit of time to wake up sometimes. So
and we did talk about that yesterday after the mixed doubles match, and I was talking with JW and Simone, and Simone was like, the key tomorrow is how the schedule plays out for you, JW, and how, you know, that it all stacks up. And I think this is how he wanted it. He wanted singles first.
Yeah, so taking a quick look back at our pro men's bracket as it broke down, you could see J.W. Johnson had to take out Johnson Cola in the semis, and then Jake Kussmeiter in the winner bracket final. The ultimate bronze medalist was Kussmeiter. To make it into this gold medal match, took the easy route on the upper half, while Staksrud had to also take down Johnson Cola. John, it's tough. Two defeats by 2 people in the gold medal. Doesn't get, you know, if you're going to lose to anybody, make sure it's the 2 people in the gold medal match. So then Federico Staksrud, a really fun bronze medal match that we saw on Thursday, got through Jake Kussmeiter. So I think this is going to be his first appearance in a gold medal match here on the pro circuit. So very excited to see him play again. And I think you were talking about the schedule. Of course, J.W. Johnson in 3 matches today. But he does get a rest, and the only rest he'll get is the women's pro singles, which is after this. So I think that's probably why he wanted this one first, because, I mean, when do you want your rest? You probably want it after the most grueling match that you're going to have. And we'll see if he does start off a little slow here, perhaps. Takes a minute to get warmed up, and we were talking amongst some different people, thought it might go to, we had some people thinking a 3-game match was coming up here, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I am very excited to get into the action. It looks like our men are ready to face off. Michelle Baumgartner is going to be our head referee for this gold medal match here in men's pro singles. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube and Facebook, everyone. Make sure and share this. Let everyone know we are off and running into our gold medal matches here today. J.W. Johnson in the green on the far end is going to start us off serving. Federico Staksrud in the purple.
Right on cue, Zane. A little slow start for JW. Takes him a little time to wake up.
He'll wake up eventually. He's going to need to if Staksrud keeps hitting shots like that.
Yeah, exactly. And Staksrud was on court with Alex Newman an hour and a half ago going full games of singles to warm up, and I think JW was in the tent taking a nap.
I think that's just how he looks.
Oh,
Wow.
That's an awesome shot.
So Staksrud is coming out just super hot right now, hitting everything, really well-placed shots. Johnson definitely going to have to wake up and wake up fast.
What you notice about Staksrud is he takes the ball on the rise very, very well, taking time away. If you allow J.W. Johnson to get up to the kitchen, you're in trouble.
That's a nice little combo there on the backhand side to start for on JW. And Zane, talk about that a little bit. I know you do it too, is you trying to take as many balls out of the air as you can under control, right? To kind of eliminate time for your opponent?
Yeah, it's a...
Oh, catches. Oh, I thought that cut a line. Just wide, though.
definitely about taking time away, because the earlier you take the ball, the less established your opponent is at the kitchen. The closer they are to that kitchen line, the better they are to cut off the angles. So you're operating with a larger court in a sense when your opponent is back off the kitchen.
Staksrud seems to be reading JW very well early on here.
I think Staksrud is serving deceptively well too. When you watch this on film, a lot of times we have a high angle, so it's tough to see just how much shape is on that serve. Awesome play.
Nice rally. J.W. Johnson getting pinned at that baseline early, but finally able to make his move up.
That half volley was a perfect example of taking the ball early, right? If he lets that ball bounce, sit up, he might have an easier shot to execute, but Staksrud's in position.
Yep.
That's nice. Staksrud's also having some success with just punching that volley down the line, and he's not going deep in the court. He's going a little bit shorter. If he goes deep in the court, easier for J-Dub to get a paddle on that.
Wow, that's a nice
So
inside-out
low.
forehand right there.
4-1. Point.
Little wind factor on that one.
Yeah, it looked like it just knocked it down.
5-1.
Staksrud up 5-1 here in game one, now 6-1.
The receiver has called a timeout.
I was gonna say, I was gonna wonder, J.W. Johnson sometimes reluctant to call a timeout, especially in singles, but does so here, I think, very good to do.
Yeah, I mean, during this timeout, and he's not talking to anybody, but Zane, what is he thinking and what does he need to do here during this timeout to get back in here down 6-1?
I bet you J-Dub's not thinking about much. And I don't mean that in any way. I think he's just calling this timeout to break momentum. I think J-Dub realizes strategically he's been fine. He just hasn't executed. He's had a couple of returns. He's had several shots right into the tape. I think this is just a complete momentum timeout, not a strategy piece. I think he's got his strategy figured out. Now it's just coming down to making those shots.
Receiver, you have 1 timeout remaining. Server, you have 2 timeouts remaining. Time in. 6-1.
What an
Nice
angle.
angle. Yeah, just that nice little volley.
1-6.
Johnson needing to get the execution going here now.
Nice shot.
Just Staksrud is controlling that kitchen line. A lot of times you see players against JW, they may get 1 or 2, but he's going to eventually open up a hole, and Staksrud is closing all of those holes. And I think a lot of his blocks and his volleys, he's keeping JW back and creating a little more time for himself up there at the kitchen line.
Definitely. When JW is back, he's doing a great job of keeping him back. But then as soon as he sees J-Dub start to creep in, that's when he brings his depth of volley much shorter to keep it away from him. It's much like soccer players when taking a penalty kick, right? The goalies are better at reaching shots that are higher up than, so when you hit a penalty kick, you go at the feet.
Dropping a little soccer knowledge, Zane. I like it.
I love a little sports crossover.
That could be completely untrue.
It
No-
sounded-
You're
nobody
like,
should-
I've never
it
played
sounded
soccer a
good.
day in my life.
Don't
but
audit me on that. I think it's true.
Oh, he's just so good right now. In singles, Zane, especially on the return, obviously it depends who you're playing, but is there a particular spot, especially in singles, that's a better place to return on the court to try and set you up better and kind of cut off their options?
So depth is usually key. If you can hit that return deep in the court, it allows you more time to get into the net, and it also forces your opponent to pass from deeper in the court. You have less angles the further you are back in the court. So really, depth is the first and foremost option.
1-6.
Yeah, it seems like Staksrud is really going to that left corner on Johnson's forehand. It seems like that is where he's preferring to try and return right now, keeping it close to that line.
6-1.
Ooh, pulls that
So there's an idea of following the ball, meaning if he approaches down the line, he's going to come into the net and cover the line. If he approaches cross court, he needs to step all the way across that center line.
It was right on cue. As he returns to that corner, like you say, he steps over that center line to cut off that angle.
Yeah, that was a middle return, which another really good dipping pass. I think this wind is playing against the wind right now is helping Staksrud. I'd be curious to know who won the toss. Wind in this circumstance gives you basically artificial topspin. It knocks your shots down, and it seems like J-Dub's struggling with that just a little bit.
It's a nice drop on the run for J.W. Johnson.
Staksrud right now doing such a great job getting up to that kitchen line, and Johnson just has not been able to really get up there and get into that cat and mouse game that he likes to play so much.
7-2.
Staksrud's got to be pretty happy with that play, to be honest. I mean, he had exactly the ball he wanted, took it super early. He was able to run around that ball impressively.
2-7.
There's that taking that ball out of the air, right, Zane? If JW lets that ball bounce, Staksrud's able to adjust and get in a better position. But JW takes that time away and doesn't allow him to set up. He's so good at that.
That was nasty.
3-7.
Staksrud's liking that inside-in forehand return over to JW. He's covering that first pass very, very well, and second pass.
7-3.
You see JW wiping down his paddle a little bit. It's humid out here.
8-3.
A lot of moisture.
So humidity can actually affect how a paddle plays as well. A ball is less likely to grab your paddle when there's a little bit of moisture on the face.
Just got that.
Mediocre point by Staksrud.
8-3.
Oh,
What?
wow.
My goodness.
He's able to shape that ball down the line, keep it away from Johnson here.
Yeah,
It'd be
and
great if there was some sort of angle that was directly on that line, because if there wasn't side spin placed on that shot, and what these camera angles don't show is the amount of movement that ball had right to left. Unbelievable.
wow.
That last pass with point before, without topspin or without side spin, I'm thinking that passing shot goes 2 feet wide. But he's able to curl that around. He's got himself game point.
3.
Staksrud, 26 years old, originally from Colombia, has been playing pickleball since September of last year. Does that? Oh, excuse me, Argentina. I'm so sorry. Who was I thinking of that's from Colombia that I just mixed up?
Pablo Escobar.
Yeah,
No. Tellez. Pablo Tellez.
Pablo Tellez.
Excuse me. Argentina. But yes, only playing since September of last year.
It's depressing.
I know. Does that make you nervous for the future of the singles game, Zane?
It'll be interesting. Now, what's impressive about him is how much feel he has around the net. That's usually one of the last skills to pick up.
Another game point, and that
So it was
return
looks
was
like
long.
Staksrud might have been playing that, but
I know. I think he called it out and then hit as he kind of was hitting it. So, all right. Looks like J.W. Johnson will indeed need to wake up a little more in game number 2 here in this gold medal match. Staksrud needs to win the 2 out of 3 and a tiebreaker match to 15 to secure that gold medal. So plenty of pickleball left to play. Don't go anywhere. Back with game number 2 right after this. Game number 2 here on Championship Sunday, and our first gold medal match of the day about to be underway. Currently, Federico Staksrud with all the momentum going into the second game over J.W. Johnson, taking game 1 fairly easily, 11-4. Let's see if perhaps some wind change, different ends of the court, helps out Johnson here in game number 2.
well,
So
just before that, I was going to say that I think Staksrud's going to have a little bit more difficult time passing JW. However, when you leave that return so short, Federico had a lot of options there.
1-0.
oh, nice hands from Johnson there. I mean, you've played J.W. Johnson. You've been personally victimized by him in the past.
Wow.
What is it
Ouch.
like playing that cat and mouse game, which you like so much as well, against him at the net?
I would not say I like cat and mouse that much.
Oh,
I'd rather blast some passing shots. That
All right,
sounds like
okay,
more fun to me.
okay.
But he's very, very quick with a very powerful first step, JW.
oh, just wide on that.
He did
Oh.
not call it out.
No.
He didn't call
it was
it
definitely
out.
out, though,
That was way out, right?
by about a mile.
I was like, is it just me? I could see easily blue on the left side of that ball.
Wow. That's an unreal volley. Look how short in the court he gets this volley.
The angle he creates is unbelievable right there.
2.
Oh, I mean, it's there, just a little too low on that.
I mean, again, Zane, like you said, he's creating shape now on that side too, and that ball's dipping as soon as it gets over the net. So hard to block.
I don't think he got
Yeah,
it.
he missed that
Oh.
just barely.
Yes, I know. I thought
J-Dub should have called it in to pad the stats.
Yeah.
It was a great defense.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, call it in, J-Dub.
Just misses.
As he hits that perfect defense, he calls it out.
2. 2.
Yeah, it's interesting. J.W. Johnson doesn't look super tall, but he's pretty good, like good height on him, and he obviously has that great reach. And you talked about, Zane, that powerful first step that he takes. So he can just get so much power on those volleys when he can get them out of the air.
He's got an incredibly lively wrist, and I don't know if we have a replay of that one, but just that passing shot was, that first pass, not that replay, but the first passing shot was almost no backswing, completely
Yeah,
using
he has
his
very
wrist on
short
that.
swings sometimes.
Very compact. It allows him, again, like I was mentioning earlier, to take that ball on the rise.
4-2.
Good recovery from Staksrud off the net, and he finishes it.
And again, the anticipation of both of these players. And how much does that come into play, Zane, as a tennis player yourself? The anticipation and the years of practice in tennis, anticipating your opponents.
It comes down to knowing your opponent's patterns, and that comes from playing them a lot. And knowing what shots are realistic in a given situation. Which shot do I know that I need to cover, and which shots don't I need to cover, right? So it's a percentages game, and knowing, okay, if my opponent beats me in a cross-court passing shot from this position, okay, I can give that to him, right? Because all you have to do is win 51% of pickleball points in a match to win the match.
So true. So you've played J.W. Johnson a lot more than you have Staksrud, even though you have played him a couple times. What are the patterns you know that Johnson likes to follow that you can be expecting when you take him on?
I mean, he hits great passing shots on both sides, and he sets himself up. You know, once he opens up that face for a drop, that he's going to be following that in, coming in for some cat and mouse. He does a great job of being able to pass going both directions, meaning he can pass down line, he can pass cross court, so it's pretty difficult to anticipate on his passing shots, but that's what makes him great, right? You don't really know what's coming.
So winning comes down to being able to anticipate the patterns of your opponent, and you're saying J.W. Johnson, you can't anticipate.
That's what makes him good, right? If I knew what he was doing, I'd crush him, right? If you knew what your opponent was going to do every time. Now there are certain shots I know he can't hit in a situation. If he's 10 feet off the court, I know that he can't roll that ball all the way back across court, and so I need to cover the line. But when he's set up, when your opponent is set up, they have options.
Time in. 4-2.
I thought that was wide also. Oh. It must have been, since Staksrud dumps that into the net. All right, so Johnson coming to life a little bit here in game number 2 after even a bit of a slow start in this game.
Plays it.
That was a very generous call. I think he's shaking his head as he walks back going, I don't know why I just didn't call that out.
Some very generous line calls going on in this match.
I love it. That's good. Look, it's evening out. I think Staksrud gave Johnson a couple earlier.
Oh,
What
wow.
a ball right there. I mean, it was an incredible drop from J.W. Johnson in the first place, but that's like you're saying, Zane, he can't really roll that ball right there. If he's going to go cross-court there, he can drop that. But because he's moving full sprint to that side, it makes it difficult for him to rip that ball cross-court.
Yeah, and Johnson hit a really good drop, but Staksrud was there early and found the space. J.W. Johnson has turned this around with really good deep returns. First couple points, much shorter, adjusted for the wind. Now he's hitting those returns deep. Staksrud's having a tough time passing him.
I know you've implemented it into your game as well, Zane, and obviously coming from a tennis background. Do you think it was about time that the men started implementing the two-handed backhand after the women were seen doing it probably earlier? Because now you see everyone doing it.
Nice point. So to answer your question, I personally think that when pickleball has been around for a very, very long time, that the best way to hit a backhand is going to be with one hand, because it allows you more reach, it allows you to create more angles. However, almost all of the top players that we have in our game now are former tennis players. And I'd say 90% of tennis players over the last 25 years have been developing two-handed backhands. So it's natural for us to use those two-handed backhands. I think when there are children that are playing pickleball from the time they're 3 years old, they should be taught one-handed backhands, because I think you can generate more power. I think you can create more angles, and you can flick your wrist a little bit better with a one-handed backhand. The main reason one-handed backhands in tennis are falling out of style is because it's very difficult to control the ball once it gets above your shoulder. However, that's not a problem that we ever have in singles pickleball. That ball is bouncing up somewhere between the waist and the knees pretty regularly, which is sweet spot for that one-handed backhand. So,
All right,
long story
you
short,
heard it here first.
there you
Sam
go.
Navratil. The future of pickleball is one-handed backhands. We're going to have a ball change here after that first one was cracked.
I would hit one-handed backhands, but it is not a pretty sight to see.
Got to just practice it.
Easier said than done.
Right on cue, watching court 3, Paul Olin with his one-handed backhand. Paul uses that a lot, the one-handed backhand, and he's very good at it.
7-2.
I'm guessing he had a one-handed backhand in tennis. Again, he's on the senior tour, right? And his tennis experience, the one-handed backhand was far more common when Paul, in fact, it was the only way before the two-handed backhand was created.
2-7.
So, again, I'm sure Johnson not happy with that error on the return. Free, easy point for Staksrud. So as you predicted, Zane, Staksrud struggling a little bit from that far end. Now with the wind to his back.
7-3.
Oh, that was out also, and I think he knows it was out, but right?
Yeah, just wide.
I mean, if I'm down there playing, I'm calling that out.
You like that play right there, Zane, where short, return maybe 4 feet behind the kitchen line, popped up, and just going body on your opponent?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely, because J-Dub was right in the middle of the court, so was Federico. You go right at him. There's no angles. Again, we talk a lot about angles. There's no angles to pass that ball past JW. So when you attack right at somebody, you know that their reflex is going to be to smack it back hard at you, right? If they're hitting it hard, it's going to come through the court as opposed to off the court. And what I mean by that is if it's angled off the court, it's going to be passing one of the sidelines. So when you get into those quick hands exchanges, it's very, very difficult to put the ball away from your opponent, and I think JW has to have confidence against anybody in pro pickleball in those hands exchanges. So I like the play.
And by doing that too, Zane, it doesn't allow your opponent to extend, right? So if you go just outside the hips and you're going to open up and hit that big forehand, or it's going to go outside your left hip and you're going to open up and hit that two-handed backhand. But if you body up, you're just the only thing is a counter punch or a block.
Yep, J-Dub went right at that right side of Federico's body, which if it was a little higher, we all know kind of results in that chicken wing. But when you're trying to body up your opponent, right along that right side from hip to shoulder is a great target.
All right, back in from this timeout from Staksrud. Johnson 2 points away, now 1 from taking this to a game 3. And again, Staksrud coming through the back draw here into this gold medal match. So if Johnson takes him to a third game, he'll have to win that and a tiebreaker match to 15 to come all the way back to that gold medal. But we know J.W. Johnson is going to give it everything he's got to not let that happen.
It's interesting. Federico's putting a lot more pace on his serve now. A lot of times does what I call hitting a heavy serve that has more arc to it, landing further in the court.
almost was back in that, had that angle. So game number 3 indeed coming your way next. So first gold medal match of Championship Sunday, already given us quite a lot of excitement. Lauren McLaughlin, Dominic Catalano, and Zane Navratil in the booth. Will be back for game number 3 right after this. All right, so we're back, and we're just finding out in between here, the second and third game, that J.W. Johnson won the toss. And that far end has been seemingly the player's favorite end throughout the weekend. So I'm wondering if he chose sides.
I would guess that he chose side because I believe, actually, no, he must have chose to serve.
Okay. Oh yeah, because he did start serving. Okay.
And nobody in singles should ever choose to receive. There is no reason to ever choose to receive in singles. Doubles is a different question.
Right.
Oh, interesting insight.
So JW choosing to serve, Federico choosing to end on the far side. Yeah, both players having better success against the wind from the near side. Interesting.
Getting into this third game.
Now, what do you prefer, Zane? In to the wind or wind behind you?
I definitely prefer to play in singles into the wind because, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the wind will knock down your shots. It will get that ball down to your feet or pull it in closer to the baseline.
Meaning you can create more shape on balls into the wind.
Exactly, the wind will knock that ball down. Conversely, your opponent's shots will sail a little bit, just like J-Dubs right there.
Yeah, so we will switch ends at 6 here in this third game.
It's huge for Federico to try and build up a lead on this good side.
Yeah, he obviously fared much better on this near end in game 1, as did J.W. Johnson, so.
Johnson has what he's looking for on his paddle. He's upset with himself. Visibly upset, which you don't see very often.
There's a timeout.
The receiver has called a timeout. The score is 4-0. You have 1 minute.
I think it's pretty mentally taxing to be playing week after week after week after week. I mean, I think that JW went from Punta Gorda to Plantation to Port St. Lucie to here.
Yep.
And he might have been playing the week before Punta Gorda as well. I can't recall, but back-to-back tournaments is difficult on anybody.
And he talked about that
mentally as much as physically.
Talked about that with Dylan Frazier too. Dylan's in school, and so Dylan's going from tournament. He gets home on Sunday night, and he's in school until Wednesday, trying to get all of his work in for the week done in 3 days, and then he's traveling for a tournament. And you got it. It's got to wear even on a young kid's body. And I think that's what's happening too with Dylan. Dylan's not 100% right now. I think he's just not, his recovery time isn't enough.
Yeah, for me, I try to avoid back-to-backs as much as possible. Great pickup.
Wow,
What a point right there.
Staksrud just.
Unbelievable pickups by Staksrud.
Yeah, and he's out big again here, 4-0 in game 3.
0-4.
Nice passing shot from J.W. Johnson, right flat down that line.
that's a shot we haven't seen much from him yet, right? Staksrud was a little surprised he wasn't there, right? J-Dub's been taking that passing shot cross court primarily on the backhand side.
You know Johnson's not happy when he
Is
smiles
smiling.
and laughs at himself after something.
5-1.
1 point away from an end change. Oh. Wow. It's great anticipation and read there. Getting a few of those back before Johnson's finally able to put that one away.
J-Dub doesn't usually struggle with the putaways.
1-5.
Oh,
Nice
right
serve.
on that back corner.
Oh, what an angle right there. That all started with a great serve.
Nice little slice volley there.
I have to say that's the most impressive part of Federico's game for me, because a lot of times these newer tennis players don't have that feel at the net. I almost wonder, with Federico being from Argentina, if he has some sort of padel tennis background as well on top of regular tennis to have that real quick feel at the net.
There's that right at the body right there.
Johnny Goldberg must not be here cheering on his boy, otherwise there'd be a bing bong.
He's here. I hear him.
Oh,
Great short stab backhand volley. That ball right there that you just saw in the replay is so difficult to do, to take that ball that's below the net and bump it into a spot that JW can't take out of the air. When you let JW take that ball out of the air, he's lethal.
You said it earlier, Zane, that not many times that JW has to hit 2 overheads. And Staksrud's making him hit 2, sometimes 3 overheads to end the point.
4-5.
good effort from Johnson. Oh. Wow. He
What a point.
clips the net on that. Almost doesn't get it over, but Staksrud's there.
I think J-Dub's hit his quota from the bad side. I was thinking if he gets 3 points from that side, he's in business. I think this is going to be good.
That long
Even
right
takes
there.
the
Yeah.
lead. Takes the lead from the weaker side.
Yeah, so Johnson comes back after again being down big here as we kick off into game number 3. Triggers the end change, and he will conclude this third game of the match on the near end, while Staksrud will head to the far end. Again, if Staksrud wins this third game, we will play a tiebreaker match to 15 as he is coming through the back draw, and this is a double elimination style format, so that would be J.W. Johnson's first loss of the day. But Johnson, again, with the momentum into the end change. We'll see if that carries to the end.
biggest key here, I think, after this side change is, does J-Dub make the adjustment immediately to getting those returns a little bit deeper? We saw as we changed sides in the beginning, JW struggled at the beginning of that game, at the beginning of the last game, for a couple of points to get those returns deep. Federico scored a couple points very early on that on that other side. If J-Dub can come out of the gate right away with a couple of good deep returns, and obviously he's serving first, but once Federico gets the ball back, if J-Dub can make those returns deep, it's going to be trouble for Federico to pass.
I'm pretty sure the game plan for Johnson is to not give Staksrud the ball back.
That'd be a great plan. It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Love the dodgeball reference there, Zane.
Always a good time.
Side out. Five, 7.
We have confirmation that Johnny Goldberg is in the stands after a big "Yeah, J-Dub" chant. There we go. Actually, J-Dub got away with a bit of a shorter return there. Federico had a really good look at that first passing shot. J-Dub locked it up, though.
7, 5. Side out.
Tries to sneak it down that sideline. A little wide, though.
5, 7.
Hard when you're fully on the move.
Point. 6, 7. Point.
Like you said, Zane, he's hitting his serve now. He is really hitting that serve.
With the wind, he's going a lot flatter, a lot harder. Against the wind, he's putting more of that shape on the ball. I love how early he took that ball. That was great. J-Dub was still in the transition zone. Now he missed it by a couple inches, but that was a great play.
We're tied at 7s here in the third game. Nice recoveries from Staksrud. Oh, caught the line. Wow. That ball was deciding for a while whether or not it was going to come in. I think Johnson thought that was going to be out, but he was certainly ready when it hit the line, and he had to play that. He takes back a 1-point lead here and a timeout from Staksrud.
This is more of that was a long point timeout. I need a break and regroup here because, again, game 3, Staksrud needs this. Technically, Johnson doesn't, but he doesn't want to go to that game to 15. But if he does drop this third game, he does have that game to 15 in his back pocket. But a good timeout here from Staksrud, regroup and get back in.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do at this point in a match is throw away a point because you're out of gas. I think Staksrud he still has another timeout. So this isn't his last timeout of the match. Regroup, catch your breath, especially on defense when you don't want J-Dub to be within 2 points of that match. So don't throw away a point just because you're out of gas.
Wise words in the singles game.
Receiver, you have 1 timeout remaining. Server, you have 1 as well. Time in.
Johnson with the serve and the 1-point lead, trying to close in on a gold medal.
Wow. I mean, JW completely extending Staksrud from sideline to sideline.
You can see Staksrud look back at that line, but that definitely was going to be in.
9, 7.
mean, Staksrud's in control of that point for the most part the whole time until J.W. Johnson came to the net.
And a gold medal match point here for J.W. Johnson.
Nice volley there.
Yeah.
Very good volley. Again, really difficult to get this volley so short in the court and away from JW.
That's a big shot.
He almost put that into the kitchen.
Yes. That's a big shot at a big time.
Oh, wow.
How did
Another
that ball
banana
come back
shot.
in?
And again, the angle we saw it at, we could tell. Imagine if we're sitting on that line, how much of a bend is on that ball.
He's the Rafael Nadal of pickleball.
Bent that like Beckham.
Federico is not going to be going and getting that ball quickly. Unfortunately, Susanna Barth tossed it to him. I don't think he liked that.
Yeah.
He was like, nope, nope, leave it.
I would have kicked it back to her.
Another match point and another fended off.
No.
Ooh,
Wow.
Staksrud. He is going to make this interesting.
That drop, I thought J.W. Johnson wasn't even going to get that drop.
Not too shabby. Great serve. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Is that it's like an old school saber on the run.
Wow, and we're tied at 10s here in game number 3 of this gold medal match. It goes one way, gold medal. It goes the other, tiebreaker match to 15.
And now I love this. It's the offensive timeout from Staksrud. Staksrud called this timeout. So he comes all the way back, ties this up, and is like, okay, now I need a breath, regroup, because he knows how big these next couple points are. Never underestimate the offensive timeout.
It's because Suzanne Barr didn't let him have a little break over there to go get the ball.
Yeah, he was trying to pull a Marcin Respetsky, kick the ball back, roll it around a little bit, have the ref check it, see if there's a crack in it.
Tie your shoe.
Gentlemen, you have 15 seconds.
So if this is any indication how the rest of our matches are going to be today, we're going to have a fun championship Sunday here.
Server, you have no timeouts remaining. Receiver, you have 1. Time in. 10. 10.
I think it's he hits some shots so kind of nonchalantly. I think you almost miss how much power Johnson's putting on that overhead.
10. 10.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, there's a bing bong from Johnny Goldberg. We were waiting for that.
Yeah. And it's match point number 3 here for J.W. Johnson.
That swing is just so short and compact that it was probably a 2-foot long swing, yet he's able to just change directions with that flick of the wrist. Broken ankles.
11. 10.
Oh, man.
Wow. Just hear the court might picking up, hitting that head pickleball sign on the net.
The fact that Johnson gets that ball out of the air right here, this next one. Staksrud not expecting that.
11, 10.
Again.
That was a close call on the sideline on the return of serve by Staksrud.
I think this one caught it. I think he got it.
10, 11.
There's no generous calls now. That serve goes long.
Oh, and the
And a
offensive,
timeout from
offensive
Johnson.
timeout here from Johnson.
Yeah,
He'll
how many championship points has he had?
He'll have number 5 after this.
Whew. If you're Johnson and you haven't been able to close this out, Zane, in 5, and Staksrud's obviously right there, any opportunity that you give him is possibly your last. What's the thought process? What do you need to do to just finish this?
That gets tricky, right? You don't want to try and overplay, meaning you don't want to try and hit hero shots. You don't want to try and do too much. But also, it's a double-edged sword because you have to find the game that's not passive and reactive. You want to play this next point on your terms, but without overdoing it. When I'm in this sort of spot, you know, I go to the things that I can control. Meaning, if I'm in this spot, I'm going to try and put a little bit of extra depth on my serve, try and open up the court a little bit, hit the shots that I'm most confident in. I'm going to pick my absolute favorite shots to try and execute this point.
And we know that even at 19, J.W. Johnson has a pretty high level of mental fortitude. Let's see if...
10.
Oh, that's good. And he does. He gets it done after the let serve that goes in. Whew. Staksrud, unbelievable play though here. He's our silver medalist, and I would say the future is very, very bright for him. We will see him on the podium and in more gold medal matches in the very near future. But a big congrats. First gold medal in a possible triple crown checked off for J.W. Johnson. Lauren McLaughlin, Dominic Catalano, and Zane Navratil here in the booth. For this match, we head to our Franklin studio on court to talk to gold medalists here in men's pro singles. J.W. Johnson, after this short break, our women's pro singles gold medal match. Anna Bright takes on Georgia Johnson right after this.
Georgia Johnson coming up next.
Welcome back to the Delray Beach Tennis Center. I am here with J.W. Johnson after his 3-game victory over Federico Staksrud. J.W., it took you a little while to warm up. Federico takes game 1. What did you think after he took game 1? What was the difference that turned everything around for you in game 2?
Kind of the side changed a little bit, and then obviously reading his patterns a little bit more. But I think even though it didn't seem like it, the wind was a little bit of a factor again. So I knew once I got over there, I was pretty much rolling with it.
And then we were talking in the booth. You won the toss to start, correct? Did you choose side or serve?
Serve.
So you choose serve, and you gave Federico the side that he wanted, but you knew what you wanted to do with side because of the wind. How much of a factor has it been all weekend here with the court and with the wind down here on Stadium Court?
Oh, yeah, I mean, this week, the past couple of weeks has been really tough with the wind. It's been pretty brutal, but this compared to the last couple of weeks has been kind of tame wind-wise. So, but it's definitely, you just have to get adjusted to it, I think.
And that's 1 win down for you today. You got 2 more. You got mixed doubles final and men's doubles final. But with this win, you wanted to dedicate this win to someone. Tell me about that.
I want to dedicate this win to Katie Krieger, who's battling leukemia at the moment. So just know that we're all praying for you, and hope you get better very soon.
Yes, Katie. We know Katie, the Krieger family. I've known them for years now. Great family. If you go to Randy Coleman's Facebook page, he has a GoFundMe on there, so you want to check that out. That'd be great. But JW, great job today. First win. He's going for that Triple Crown later on. He'll have mixed doubles and then men's doubles. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Georgia Johnson and Anna Bright for the Women's Pro Gold Medal Singles Final here at the Delray Beach Pickleball Open.